Welcome back to the Dynasty Nerds YouTube page. I am Garret Price, and today we're talking about 4 running backs that have the opportunity to be RB1s this season that you don't have to draft as RB1s. Let's get into it. Okay, as I mentioned in the open, we are looking at some upside running backs for this coming season. Guys that you don't have to draft as RB1s that could end up finishing as RB1s for your fantasy football team. So, just to be clear, this is more of a redraft episode. Normally we do Dynasty. This is focused specifically on 2022. Now, let me give you the ADP of the top 12 running backs so you know I'm not lying. You know I'm not cheating. These are guys that are being drafted currently as RB1s. 1, we got Jonathan Taylor. 2, Christian McCaffrey. 3, Austin Eckler. 4, Derrick Henry. 5, Najee Harris. 6, Dalvin Cook. 7, Joe Mixon. 8, DeAndre Swift. 9, Nick Chubb. 10, Alvin Kamara. 11, Javonte Williams. And 12, Aaron Jones. So those are the top 12 guys right now. We're not talking about any of those guys. They're already being drafted as RB1s. But there's some guys I think that you can get a little bit later in your draft or maybe trade for that maybe don't have quite as much value as these guys in those redraft or contender scenarios if you're in a dynasty league that you might be able to get. So first guy off the board, RB14 in redraft, 25th player overall, Saquon Barkley. Now, I know some of you guys have been burned. That maybe is the nice way to put it. Maybe have a little bit of remorse, buyer's remorse in the past from acquiring Saquon Barkley after his rookie season. Look, he's been injured, he's been banged up, and last year recovering from the ACL, he just didn't look quite like himself most of the year. We saw flashes, but overall, he just didn't look like the guy that we remember as Saquon Barkley. Brian Daboll is now here. He turned around that Bills offense. He's a really good offensive mind. On top of that, the Giants really invested into their offensive line. Andrew Thomas is now playing so much better at left tackle than he was before. They invested early draft capital in that offensive line. So we should expect better returns from the O-line. And Saquon Barkley himself is looking like his old self. All the reports from camp is that he's looking explosive. He's looking like the guy he used to. And I think if he continues to catch passes, which he's got the same quarterback, it's still Daniel Jones. So we should still see the same type of volume, same type of dump offs to Saquon Barkley that we've seen in the past. So I'm in on Saquon Barkley, RB14. I think he could definitely finish as an RB1 this season. Second guy on the list, let's drop down 2 more spots, Ezekiel Elliott. So when I say once again that Ezekiel Elliott could finish as an RB1, I say that pretty confidently because every single season of his career, he has finished as an RB1. Every single one, even in his second year when he was suspended for 6 games, still finished as an RB1 in that season as well. He played through that PCL injury last year, and he's been playing much faster, much better, and he has the 6th easiest running back schedule this year. I know, look, Tony Pollard's a thing. Tony Pollard is a good player. This is not a knock against Tony Pollard at all. We've seen the Cowboys' willingness to give Ezekiel Elliott the football, especially down by the goal line. I think that is going to continue. There's no reason for it not to continue. They actually have a lot of money invested into Ezekiel Elliott, so that way it will continue. So they're going to continue giving him the ball. He's going to produce like he's always produced. In fact, he's just going to be a healthier version of himself last year when he finished as RB7 overall. So I know that he's getting taken later, but this one kind of felt like cheating. He's going to be an RB1. It happens every year. It will continue to happen in 2022. Let's drop down a little further. Okay, those first 2 are like, yeah, they're not RB1s, but you're only getting them 2 and 4 spots later. All right, this one, how about 10 spots later? 10 running back spots later, outside of the RB1 range, K Dobbin. Another guy that's coming off an injury, and we didn't get to see him play at all last year because that injury happened in camp. So we didn't get to see him play, but his rookie campaign, he was actually really fantastic. First of all, in that season, Baltimore ran the most run plays out of any team in the NFL. So we know that they have a willingness to run the football, whether that's with their quarterback or running back, it doesn't matter. They're going to run the ball a lot. On top of that, Gus Edwards has been reported to be behind J.K. Dobbins in his rehab. So while it's looking very likely for J.K. Dobbins to be the starting running back week 1, the guy that we thought he was going to be potentially splitting carries with, most likely won't be there. He is behind in his recovery. So that will only give more carries and more opportunities to a guy like J.K. Dobbins. Let's rewind back to that rookie season we talked about. He was 7th. J.K. Dobbins was 7th in fantasy points per touch. So when he got the football, he was scoring you fantasy points. On top of that, when you look at his efficiency numbers, they were off the charts. We're talking about top 5 in several categories, but the top 1 overall was in true yards. He was the number 1 player in true rushing yards, which is basically taking away the breakaway runs, which, by the way, he was 3rd in efficiency-wise. So he was good at that too. But you take away the breakaway runs, and how consistently was he getting yardage? So his true yards per carry, they had him up closer to 6, which was really, really impressive. Last one I'm going to talk about here, Ramondre Stevenson, currently running back 38. So yeah, this one's a much deeper dive than even J.K. Dobbins was, who's, 10 spots off the pace of an RB1. This guy you're getting as an RB3 to 4 as far as current startup ADP. It's absolutely crazy. Currently, right now, there is no timetable for James White's return. He has been their receiving back for years. It's been reported that Ramondre Stevenson is getting a lot of work. Now, Ty Montgomery could also be involved in that mix. So I'm not saying it's only going to be him, but if we get passing yardage, which we saw last year from Ramondre, if we get that passing yardage in those pass catches, that is a huge boost. On top of that, we've heard a lot of reports that he's been running with the ones. Peter King also talked about how he's expecting him to actually get the bulk of the carries this year. If not early, definitely by midseason. It's a guy that they like there. And let's rewind back to Damian Harris, who's the current starter. Let's rewind back to his rookie season. Oh yeah, there's nothing to look at. He basically redshirted his rookie season. He didn't play. Ramondre Stevenson was on the field consistently as a rookie. We know this is a guy that Belichick likes. We know that this is a guy that has the size to bang between the tackles like Belichick likes to do. I think this could be a great year and an amazing, amazing redraft value for Ramondre Stevenson. All right, guys, that's all I have for today. If you want to give me your running back ones that maybe aren't being drafted as running back ones, go ahead and put those guys in the comments, guys, that you're wanting to target after those top 12 players, and let's discuss it.